Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode.
Honestly, 5 years of podcasts. We all are so grateful for you listening, supporting us, and just being incredible people and listeners. So let's celebrate. That didn't really sound like I'm celebrating, did it? Oh, woo! Let's celebrate those 5 years! Oh, welcome back, everyone, to another episode. Special episode. Whoa, bloody hell. It's a 5th birthday. Fucking hell. Oh, it's At the Bridge Pod's 5th birthday. I'm joined in a virtual birthday-filled room with Lions. I've got Ollie, I've got Berth, I've got Chris, I've got the whole team. But what were your moments from the weekend? Come on, that's more important right now.
I've actually got a pretty good one, you know. Like, it's actually a very good one.
Go on.
So I had a five-a-side tournament yesterday, my mates.
Ooh, okay.
The prestigious Audi Cup, right? The prestigious Audi Cup in Birmingham. And we got to the final. Hadn't lost all tournament. Went 2-1 down in the last minute.
Ooh.
Guess who stepped up to score the equaliser? Yes, it was me.
Oh,
So it went to penalties. It's gone to penalties, and who has took the winning penalty? It is me, and I've scored that penalty, and we have won the tournament. And we're in the national tournament now.
Berth came up clutch in a big moment.
Big time. And I even did the Cole Palmer celebration.
Oh,
and scored it.
You were channeling your inner Didier Drogba, your inner Sam Kerr to deliver in the time when it mattered.
Yeah, I'm a big game player. Chris, you can. I've always got big moments in me, and
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. To be fair, that is a decent highlight of a weekend.
That is good. That's good.
That's got to be up there, isn't it? As probably one of the best ever, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I agree.
What about you, Chris? What was yours?
Had 2 tournaments this weekend, so plus 1-to-1 coaching. So I was out the house at 7:20 on Saturday morning, and I was back in it on the evening, and then I was back out of the house again at 8 o'clock the following morning, and not back till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So
Wow.
busy football weekend. We got to the semi-finals in one tournament and lost with the last kick of the game.
Oh,
Good.
that sucks.
So yeah, my tournament experience wasn't as good as Berth's this weekend, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but Berth's walked it for the tournament.
Hey, winning tournaments ain't for everyone. I've won more trophies than Arsenal, Spurs, and Chelsea this season. So
That's true. That's true. Hey, mine was easily the Xbox showcase when they announced right at the end that Gears of War E-Day was coming. And honestly, I've never screamed so loud. In fact, I have my reaction. I was that sad to film it. Roll my VT. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy Gears is coming. Oh, what a day. Yeah, I was that happy. I was very happy.
Be honest. I'll be honest. That has made me feel slightly uncomfortable, if I am being honest.
I was just so happy. I still am. I'm still buzzing.
You sounded really happy.
Well,
Yeah.
There's no release date. So I don't know if it's 2025 or 2026. I don't care. I just can't wait. What about you, Ollie? What was your moment?
I visited my dad this weekend for the first time in a little while. I saw him. I had a really nice time with him. So, Dad, if you're listening, hello.
Hello, Ollie's dad.
Hello, Wallace Dad.
That must be the first time in a while where we've all actually had something to say about the weekend.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. There's something.
I usually let the side down, I will admit.
Quiet
On
one.
our 5th birthday as well,
That's pretty.
all had a good
Yeah.
highlight.
You know what? What else is 5 related? Before we dive into the news, I've got a shout out, and it came in just after we'd recorded, so unfortunately we couldn't do it on Thursday, and it was this one. It's a 5-star review from James 1520 or 1520 via Apple Pods, and he put, absolutely brilliant, 5 stars. I love the show. It really brightens up my boring and repetitive week. It's nice to listen to a football show about Chelsea that is not so formal. I'd love a shout out. Come on, your Blues. Yeah, damn right you're getting one. Thank you, James.
Cheers,
legend.
James.
Thank you, James. Indeed, legend.
Yes, friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Chris has said it now. It's in stone. You are friend of the show.
We need to get some friends of the show on the podcast.
We've done it a few times. We have done it.
We need to get more on.
We need to get more
on.
Ollie was technically a friend of the show, and now he's permanent.
And now he's family. Ollie's family now.
Oh,
Sweet.
big team hug. Right, we have got a bit of news. It's not positive though. Yeah, I'll tease that. This isn't great. So Nicolas Jackson injured his right ankle during the Senegal DRC match on the 6th of June, and the MRI carried out on the 7th revealed a serious sprain of the ankle. Is it time to hit the panic button?
Yes. Panic button.
No.
Yes.
Genuinely though, a serious ankle sprain can take much longer than a month to recover from. And
a grade 2 ankle sprain is 3 to 6 weeks, but a grade 3 is 3 to 6 months.
And that it's sometimes I loosely use that word, requires surgical intervention. I mean, and then you've got obviously worries of ankle instability if it's not managed correctly. And we've got a history of not managing stuff correctly with injuries. I think the problem, I must say, I've seen some comments shrugging this off. I strongly suggest people don't and treat this as a potential issue here, because we don't know what's going to be required. And yeah, what do you think, Chris?
Depends on the severity of it.
That's the thing.
It's such a the problem is with sprains, like Ollie just highlighted there, there's such a wide range in terms of severity of sprains that it could be anything as little as 3 weeks to anything as long as 6 months. So it's until they release more details around the actual severity of it and a time frame, I wouldn't panic just yet, because it could be one of those that looks worse than it is initially, but clears up a lot quicker. But this is Chelsea, so I'd expect him to be out for maybe 12 to 18 months.
He's finally he's finally completing the squad's rehabilitation program. He's one of the only ones who never did.
He'll be out for 3 to 6 business years.
Yeah. I mean, I've looked and there is no update from today. So we're just left with that. So I'm hoping
that's because it takes us about 16,000 million billion millennia to even actually get people back. Do you know, like, when, for example, when like Courtois did his ACL, then did his other one, they knew within like a day what had happened. And for us, every time we get a player gets injured, I know it's international break, so it's a bit different, but even during the season, it takes weeks for us to actually learn what's wrong with people.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That is very, I mean, maybe we'll find out when we record Thursday. We can hope a positive update. And this one, I've included it just for Chris, and also because it looks great in the episode title for clicks. Michael Olise has agreed personal terms just verbally. That was in the news, and we're speaking to Palace about payment scheduling. Hey, Chris, shall we just wait till he's holding up the shirt of another club before we get hyped?
Yeah, this is another one of those. This is another one of those stories where they keep putting out the same update every day.
Yeah,
no, it's agreed personal terms, and the day after it's agreed personal terms. Why are you telling me the same thing 3 days in a row? I'll believe it when he's holding the shirt up, same as every other time.
Well, we've even learned that. Look at Nabil Fekir. He held a shirt up for Liverpool, never played for them.
You know what?
Yeah.
At least he's not coming from outside of London, because you always get the one where it's like these agreed personal terms, and then there's the added one, he's looking for a house in London.
Oh, I love that. That's a good one. What if he starts to look for a house in Manchester? That's when to panic. And maybe he just wants to commute. Maybe he just loves the train. I don't know. Right. Today we're celebrating that major milestone, 5 incredible years of podcasting about this beloved club we love so much, and it hurts us so much at the same time. Chelsea. Hey, look, over the past half decade, we've all witnessed some unforgettable moments that have shaped the history of our team, brought some joy and made us sad as well. But to mark it, we're gonna draft our favourite moments from the last 5 years involving the Blues. So it could be anything. I have no idea what the lads have chosen. I know what I've picked. The rules are simple. 2 picks. It's a snake draft, and the pick order, as decided by a randomizer earlier, was Berth, Ollie, me, and then Chris. So, Berth, step up to the podium, pick one.
Tough one going first. What have we done in the past 5 years that I could pick as one of the best moments ever? Ooh, tough one.
Yeah,
I'll
tough.
go for the Champions League final.
Oh, someone's picked it. Chris and I were wondering. We were wondering if we'd go. We'll be thinking, nah, no one's picked it. No.
You know what? There's part of me going, I'll pick something different because I know someone else is going to pick it. But I thought, you know what? Nah, I'm first. I have to pick it just in case everyone thought the same as me. But I mean, what can you say about it? It's for me personally as well. Like, I was going through a bit of a tough time at that moment, and Chelsea just know when I'm struggling, and they pull me through it. And unbelievable performance. I thought it was fantastic the whole season in the Champions League, and everyone wrote us off with the underdogs that game, and Kai Havertz, 60 million down the drain, they're saying now, but he won us the Champions League. So, yeah, what a moment. And I think looking back at the past 5 years, it was a bit of a struggle, to be honest, seeing like the best moments, but that for sure has got to be number one in most people's eyes, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I can't find it. Oh, here we are. It was one of our first episodes to break the 2,000 listener mark. Obviously, it's now been eclipsed by quite a lot, but hey,
because we've grown so much. Thank you very much, all of you.
Hey, if the number one episode still we've nearly 4,000 was when we beat Fulham 2-0 this season. That's so surreal. I was like, just Fulham, okay. The Fulham game was really important. I know it's really far ahead. That's what I didn't understand. Just the Fulham game.
Just the algorithms picked it up or something, I guess. But
something's gone on there.
Oh, that was a pre-season game. That was a pre-season game as well. That's even weirder.
Mate, do you think maybe we had signed somebody?
That's probably when we all had hope.
Yeah.
That'll be what that
Chris,
is.
Maybe you know,
don't pretend.
Maybe seen as
you never had hope.
That's true.
To be fair though, seeing as this is like the 50th year of us going, if we can get 4,000 listeners,
that is true.
Episode, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh my word! Right, Ollie.
If you know anyone who likes podcasts and you know who's a Chelsea fan and doesn't listen to this one, get them to listen to it. They'll like it.
And if you know people that like us, then please get them to listen to
and if they're a listener that loves Gears of War, then they're gonna love me. Right, Ollie, who's your pick?
My first pick is Thomas Tuchel's interview just after we got sanctioned.
That was a good start.
Wow.
You know, the whole soundbite of we'll get a bus, if not a train, if not I'll drive a 7-seater, because I think in that moment I have never felt more like a Chelsea fan, I think, than during that interview when I first heard him say those words, because that kind of embodied like the fan spirit and like everything that we would want to do for the club as well. You know, if the club was going to go under and we had the opportunity to drive a 7-seater across the country in order to get the players to play, we'd do it. And so I've never felt more like a Chelsea fan, I think, than in that moment. And yeah, that's why I picked it.
Yeah, that is niche, but so brilliant. Absolutely love that.
Good that. I like that.
That's a good one, that one.
Right. Mine's something that because I promised myself I'd not choose the Champions League final because I knew someone else would. A birth delivered. He comes up clutch.
He's a postman. He always delivers.
So I'm going to choose something that even scientists to this day cannot explain. And that is how Christian Pulisic became Lionel Messi during the lockdown. Lockdown Pulisic was what was my pick. I mean, bloody hell, what a player.
Burnley were terrified.
Look. When he was on form, I was watching back some of the highlights of that period, and his goal against City, when he just runs nearly the whole field, placed it in the corner of the City. That's a worldie. And I would argue confidently that his form secured us a top 4 place that season. And Ollie's just touched on the Burnley game. I mean, his backwards header against Burnley's a gem. We all forget that. It's a gem.
It was a hat trick, that was, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Perfect hat trick. A perfect hat trick as well.
Pulisic, I mean, I know he's doing well for Milan and awesome, but he never hit the heights after lockdown. It just wasn't the same. And it's such a shame because we really all got excited. We were like, hello. Is he really what we think he's going to be? Yeah, but what a period. Streets won't forget, that's for sure.
That's true. That is true. Very true.
Chris, I know you've got a fair few, but what was your first one?
I'm going to go with the Europa League final 2019.
Oh,
just sneaked into the 5 years as well.
It does.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah. Beating Arsenal for one, which was funny because it's just
it's the biggest game they've had in years.
It was.
Yeah.
I like how you said beating Arsenal for 1 as well, as if we didn't beat them 4-1 when we actually did.
We blew them away.
But mainly, like Hazard's last game and the performance he put in that game was unbelievable. And then his interview after, which was like confirming that he was leaving, which was sad. But that game especially, and just it was like the perfect send off for him. So for that, I think it's got to be in top 5 moments.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I remember about that was just the absolute ball ache it was to actually get to that final for fans, because I think there was barely any tickets, and I don't think there was a direct flight to Baku. I think you had to go via I can't remember the country, but you had to go via another country, and you just think, oh my word! And the hotels were bloody hell, the prices. I mean, that's normal, but wow, oh fucking hell,
ridiculous,
it was
ridiculous,
something.
really.
Chris, you're next up again.
So I'm going to go for a game.
Oh, okay.
Chelsea 4, Ajax 4.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
When Reece James's goal went in and everyone just lost it.
Man. Oh my God. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, because it was one of them as well where we hadn't really seen that sort of game from a Chelsea team for a long time. Like with that sort of attacking threat and coming back from 4-1 down, Reece James scoring as well, like everything about it, like the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge on that night as well, and Lampard was in charge, and that was a real standout game that even though it was like 4 years ago, you still remember like all of it.
I mean, that was, two penalties, 2 red cards, 2 own goals. I remember that. The Reece James goal. Bloody hell. I mean, they got 2 back-to-back red cards, didn't they? I remember that very well.
We were robbed of winning it in the dying seconds, if you remember, as Pilaqueta actually scored a 5th.
Oh,
Yes.
What a game.
What a game.
That was fun. That was fun. Right. My pick. You know what? I'm really chuffed with this because I'm sure many listeners will as well. It's Sam Kerr's 2020-21 season.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you about it. Sam Kerr was absolutely on fire. She started the season with a bang and got herself a nomination for the Player of the Month for September. Then signed a 2-year contract extension because she'd only been there for like literally, I think it was like 5-6 months because she was signed in like the January, February. And a week later from that deal, scores a winning goal in the Champions League group stage against Servette. And then she's just on a mission. Nets her 3rd league hat-trick against Birmingham in just 26 minutes. Sets up Fran Kirby for her 100th goal. Then come December, scores a brace in the delayed FA Cup final against Arsenal. Wins Player of the Match honours. And obviously we then secure the quadruple because of it for that 2020-21 season. And first English women's club to do that, just saying. And then she wraps up 2021 as a top scorer in the WSL with 23 goals. She comes 2nd in total assists with 10. Right behind only Fran Kirby. What a bloody year that was. That was her first full season. Wow. I had to pick it.
That's an impact, isn't it?
It was just, when you talk about signings that hit the ground running and changed the dynamic of the team, Sam Kerr's easily in the top 3 of Chelsea time. I mean, that is alone just like, wow. Outstanding.
Yeah.
That's absolutely outstanding. Right. We go to Ollie. No, we don't. Do we? Yes, we do.
Yeah,
does help fucking read.
My second pick is actually one from this season. There's lots of things actually that I know it's for sort of recency bias a little bit, but there's lots of things actually from this season just gone that you could probably put in a list like this. But for me, there's only one winner, and it's got to be Moises Caicedo's goal from the halfway line, because a Chelsea player has never done that before in the Premier League. Never.
No.
Wow.
That's a good point.
He's given us there like a feeling, like a brand new feeling, something we've never ever felt before. Just like the sheer incredibleness and the adoration of that goal going in, because we've never felt that. And and so just for the unique feeling it gave all the Chelsea fans. Yeah, I just thought it's something you got to mention.
That's going to be etched in my memory, watching it via Berth's shoulder in a pub.
And of course. Birth story about the urinal.
That's got to be. Yeah.
No, what I was going to say is, and of course, it didn't even bounce. It went in. It didn't even touch it, like before it went over the line. Didn't.
Oh,
even
oh, we're talking about the goal now. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I had to wonder what we meant then. Perfect segue. Berth. What was your pick? What was your pick?
To be fair, there was two that I had in mind. My honourable mention is going to be Parma versus Man United, but I've not gone for that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What I've gone for is a game. Our first season of Frank Lampard. I think it's like near New Year's Day or something like that. We go away to the Emirates.
Oh yeah.
And Sammy Abraham scores in the last minute.
He was.
Everyone goes mad.
That was an honourable mention on my list as well because of just like,
and on mine.
How late it was, and how late in the game we sort of turned it round, and just the limbs from the crowd and everything. It was just it was so Chelsea. It was.
I think it was such a good goal as well because we counter attacked them, went to Willian, thought Willian had fucked it up. He pulled it back. I thought Abraham had messed it up. He puts it through Leno's legs, and then it's just absolute limbs in the away end. And I just thought, what a win! And that summed up Frank Lampard's team.
I'm watching Lampard celebrate that goal on the touchline.
Yeah,
well.
right.
Really heartwarming.
I've got to turn it to Chris because he's got honourable mentions. I've got one.
I've got
mention.
one as well.
Yeah.
Well, I had that Arsenal game. I had Pulisic's goal against Man City during lockdown.
Incredible.
I had the Champions League win on there in case no one else picked it. And then I've got Wolves away, Frank Lampard's first season.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Tomori's goal. Yeah, that was on mine.
Oh. And the Tammy Abraham hat-trick.
Yeah.
The
Tomori goal as well. Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Really
beating Man United in the FA Cup semi-final.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just because I like beating Man United.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play.
Yeah,
I've got two more actually.
And then I've got Real Madrid, the away leg that we watched in the pub together.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was an honourable mention.
That was great.
I was tempted to put that. Yeah.
The Alonso handball that wasn't handball.
Yeah. Fuming.
The heartbreak.
Yeah. I love the theme we're going with because that Wolves game. I remember before I watched that game, I was playing Gears of War 4 or 5. It's true. I remember it very well. Bloody hell.
Gone full circle.
Full circle. Right.
I had a couple honourable mentions as well. One of them is just generally Rudiger's runs. And eventually, and I think the very last one of those he ever tried, he scored. So, and he never scored any of the others when he would sprint through midfield
Brentford.
and then fire away from there. And then he fired one from like 40 yards out against Brentford and goes in off the post. Beautiful goal. And then the other one is just, I was watching the this season's highlights because they, Chelsea put them up on their YouTube channel. And for me, it's just specifically it's the noise every time Chelsea score a goal. There is somebody at Stamford Bridge smashing the hoardings, the metal hoardings, as hard as they physically can. And that sound gives me so much dopamine.
Yeah, it's
I just
pretty
had
cool.
to include it.
Yeah,
I love it. It's a requirement of the new stadium, by the way. That noise has to somehow be there, even if you have to pump it in with speakers.
Yeah, I can't disagree. That's bloody brilliant. You know what? My honourable mention is this year. It was this year. It was the 12th of February 2024 when at Selhurst Park we were 1-0 down to Palace. And there was that long delay due to some technical difficulties with the officials. And our incredible away support started singing Three Little Birds. And we went on to score 3 goals. Was it a coincidence or was it pure magic? I'm just saying. I just still love that. It was so brilliant.
And Disassi in the away end.
Yes. Yes.
Just jumping into the way end. I love that.
Outstanding. I loved it so much.
You can say some things about last season, but it was one of the funniest seasons for Chelsea in a long time.
It was much better than the previous season.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I don't think we picked a single moment from that season.
I'm not surprised.
It's pretty fair.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, honourable mention the day Graham Potter got sacked.
Yeah. Boys really gave everything in that game, didn't they?
Oh my god. My favourite quote from him was, "How long is a piece of string?"
What?
He said that once in an interview. Just
gave everything in the game.
Oh, that alone is probably a good highlight, an honorable mention. When he just kept repeating that, it's like, oh, fucking hell, Graham, stop using it. Oh, right. There we go. Let us know what your moments of the last 5 years are, listeners, on Twitter, Spotify, wherever you wish to. Let us know. I'm not going to hit the breaking news banner, but I just saw a tweet pop up from Team Talk, which is like rumour mill, saying Levi Colwill is open to a move to Bayern Munich and he could end up leaving Chelsea this summer. I feel that's very much a...
That's from Pletigol. I think they were saying that Bayern were monitoring him, but I don't think there's anything on his side that suggests he would go.
You might be right. I would help if I click the article because I try not to do that because that means they get clicks. And was it Pletty? It doesn't actually state it.
In fairness, though, he probably would want to go.
It's Bayern.
Yeah,
It's Bayern. They're in the Champions League. Their centre backs are shit, so he'll play.
I mean, he gets coached by Vincent Kompany. Bloody hell.
Yeah, that's the downside, isn't it?
Yeah, that might keep him here, actually. That might keep him here.
So, on the one hand, you get Enzo Maresca. Oh, but on the other hand, Vincent, it's up to you. Both have won the championship. Right. We've got some questions. I've got Mike, not me. And this was, what was the one crossroad? I'll start that again. What was the one? Oh, no, don't. For some reason, I went Wodes. It's not Wodes. What was the one crossroads moment where you felt in our last 5 years that could have drastically changed? Example being, where would we be without the sanctions? Would Sarri have had a successful second season? What if Costa wasn't dropped by Conte? What if Potter worked out? I don't think Potter was ever working out, was he, really?
I mean,
do you know
the
what?
big one
I
is
think
the ownership, isn't it? Like, who would have bought us instead?
Yeah.
Think we'd be as screwed like the Vitesse thing? Or would it just not come out? It would have to come out one day.
It probably would have come out eventually.
Yeah.
I think the sanctions thing is obviously the obvious one because that's like the biggest thing to happen to the club
ever.
Probably since, certainly since Roman brought us. But I would probably say, what if Lukaku didn't do that interview?
Oh,
yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That is an absolute worldie. Yes. That I remember all the fallout from it. And like obviously we all had different views on it, which is great. But blood, he was meant to be. I mean, we saw him in the Arsenal game. We started to think we have completed the team. We have a team now. And it just I think even in hindsight, 97.5 million club record at the time. And we still have him, and yet he doesn't play, and he never will. And now we're just desperately trying to sell. What a mess!
That's a real, you're right. That's a real sort of sliding doors moment. Isn't it
really is. That's a huge shout. I mean, the Costa thing would have helped if he, Conte hadn't sent that bloody text message. Jeez. Yeah. I mean, was there something with Tuchel and he didn't respond to a text or I don't know. It just sounds so untrue, but it sounds so Chelsea at the same time. A text message ended an owner's love affair with a manager. Bloody hell.
Yeah, you don't really know what goes on, but if that is the case, then it's just a bit pathetic, isn't it? Really.
I mean,
for me, the other one is Chris already mentioned it though. It's the Real Madrid game.
Yeah, that's a good show.
Like what if Modric didn't make that perfect pass?
Beautiful. It was incredible. I've got to applaud because it was a very good assist. You know what? The Sarri one's interesting. I mean, he regrets leaving, and I think one of us. I think was it Chris drafted him in the managers thing with Enzo.
Yeah, it was, man.
I mean, yeah, I love how people still go. It was a shit football he played. I don't know. We won a trophy.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, is I agree, it was, but that's what everyone's asking for now.
What, shit football?
Yeah.
Yeah, possession-based football. Everyone's asking for possession-based football, and that's what he did. He was actually ahead of the curve in a way. So I don't really understand people slandering him for that because you're going to see over the next couple of years with all these possession-based managers we keep appointing how boring football can be. Believe me. So the thing is with Sarri that I do think, although he did a lot of good, and I do think he's overhated and probably underrated slightly. I do think Hazard carried that team a lot.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think a lot of that came from him going, what, circuits? No, I'm just going to do what I want.
To be fair, that team was carried by Hazard 100%, but also Giroud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, man,
That's another one, isn't it? Is like why didn't we if we could have convinced Hazard to stay and then build the team around him?
I think in hindsight, he probably really wishes he stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could have somehow convinced Hazard to stay, I don't think he would have. I know it's weird to say this, but I don't think he would have had the same injury issues, and I think he would have had a better legacy overall as a footballer.
Yeah.
Would have.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But I do think he would have ended up retiring early still, and I don't think he would have carried on the way he was. I still think there would have been a fall off, but just not as big.
I mean, obviously,
Instead.
he moves when he moves to Madrid. He's got two La Liga titles, a Copa del Rey, but he's got a Champions League. But it's such like not to be rude here, but it just feels like such an empty medal because he wasn't really part of that team.
No, he wasn't part of any of
It's
those
like
successes, was it?
all of Kovacic's Champions Leagues, in which like he won them wearing jeans on the sidelines.
Yeah.
He only won one with us as well, so he's proved he can do it outside of Madrid.
He barely played in us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jorginho and
Very
Kante
true.
most of the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't really remember if Eden Hazard even played in that Champions League. I mean, he had to because he got a medal, but you can be in the squad and get a medal. So
we got when Real Madrid just won the Champions League, we got some more money from that deal.
how does that work?
Even though he's retired, like
it's got to be how many
that
times
deal.
they win because it wasn't ever a put out there what it actually meant. We're told the information. So I'm assuming it's based on the club winning so many within the set amount of years.
It will be like if the club wins, like however many Champions Leagues within the length of his contract, which obviously like he ended when he retired.
Yeah.
But the contract length still goes on.
Yeah. I've just pulled up Hazard's stats from that Champions League campaign. He was on the bench for the first game against Inter. He then played 66 minutes in a 2-1 defeat to FC Sheriff. He had an injury against Shakhtar. He was on the bench against Shakhtar in the reverse fixture. He had stomach flu against FC Sheriff. He then played 9 minutes against Inter in a 2-0 win. He played 8 minutes in a 1-0 defeat to Paris. That was it. The rest he was
Ancelotti really didn't rate him, did he?
Wow.
Neither did Zidane.
No.
I mean, it's so unfair, isn't it? The majority of minutes he got in that Champions League was in a defeat. Yeah, he would have. Bloody hell! What a legend of a player for us. That's what matters. We love him. And we close out with Ross Turnbull's Tenaball and the categories 5 years ago. So to keep that theme of 5 going, I want you to name the top 10 goal scorers of the 18-19 Premier League season. Work together. The salary, just basically you got to work together and find out who was over fucking paid back then.
18-19, is that like an outside shout for that? Do you guys think Alexis Sanchez was in that?
No.
Did I say top 10 goal scorers? That's what I meant.
I don't think Alexis Sanchez in that. I could be wrong.
18-19, I don't know.
In top 10 goals. In top 10 goal scorers.
You know what? That might be after he went to United. That late.
He didn't bloody do
because he wasn't in the Arsenal team that we played in the final.
That's true, yeah. So it must be.
I don't know why I said overpaid because it's whatever. Ignore that.
But yeah, I will go for. I think.
Well, hang on. I didn't actually. I didn't see. I just talked a load of waffle. I didn't get to finish the thing. There are 15 names on the list because there were multiple ties in the top 10. So you've got room. You got room to move.
I still don't think Sanchez though.
He wasn't.
I think you're right. He's not.
No,
it wasn't.
I do think Aubameyang's on there though.
Aubameyang was joint first with 22.
Mane
with Son.
Right?
With Son
Mane
from Tottenham.
and Mane. I'm sure it was Mane as well.
Son was not in the top 10.
Really?
But Mane was. Sadio Mane.
Mane was.
Oh,
Harry Kane's got to be in
obviously.
there. Yeah,
Harry Kane was 6th with 17. Joint 6th.
Shit year for him.
Shit,
I'd say this year was shitter for him.
Yeah, this year was worse.
Look at you, you got a Cannon Award.
18-19 was Hazard's last season, wasn't it? So
it was
Hazard.
8th with 16 goals.
Aguero
4th with 21. Salah was joint first with 22. So
Jamie Vardy.
You've got the 5th spot with 18 goals. So you've done well. You got 7. That's not bad. You're into the
I think he was
more challenging.
What So are they the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th now, are they? Or
Sixth, joint 6th, 9th, and 10th. And there's a lot of joint 10ths.
How many is the joint 10th?
How many players?
How many goals?
There's
No,
13
how many
goals. They
that
got
is.
13 goals
Okay.
each.
Well,
Some
that could be
surprised.
anyone. That's a shit total.
It's
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
no, no.
trying to
Not a
think.
bad shout though.
Firmino?
Firmino, no.
For him, no.
No more Liverpool players on this list.
Who else played for
It's-
City at the time?
De
Yeah, I was
Bruyne?
gonna say.
What?
Mahrez?
No, there is a City player on this list. Only
De
the one.
Bruyne?
No. Bloody hell.
1990. Gabriel Jesus?
No. I can't believe you haven't got
David-
this lad.
David Silva.
No. How have you not got this lad?
Bernardo Silva?
No. Oh my word.
1819.
Ah,
Sterling.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe you got that left out. Yeah, you've got that. You got one more to get. I think you've Yeah, you have.
No, is it two more or one more?
I can't count today, listeners. Yes, you got two more.
How many goals did number 9 get?
14. And he's still in the Premier League.
Still there.
Oh, right.
I could give you the clubs that they played for then. I need to actually double check because I can't remember which club the one played for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't Lacazette at Arsenal that year?
He was in the list. He was joint 10th with 13.
Wow, good shout. Ollie.
Great
Good
shout, Ollie.
Who's the last one?
Oh, okay. Okay, now I know the club.
Was it a mid-table team they played for?
Yeah, they were all. I'd say that I could be really evil now and say they're all mid-table teams.
Callum Wilson?
Callum Wilson was, yes, he was. Well done.
Fucking
14,
good
9.
shout, Ollie. Well
Yeah.
done.
He did well
done,
for
Ollie.
Bournemouth, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And the other 5, you could have had mid-table Paul Pogba at Man United. That's where I was going.
Wow, that was Pogba's best season ever, wasn't it?
Wow.
Yeah. Gylfi Sigurdsson, Richarlison, Raul Jimenez when he was very on
okay.
form. And
Yeah, he was good once.
Yeah, he
wasn't
was. And this is the one that surprised me, and I'm surprised we didn't make a move for him, but we didn't have that ownership. Glenn Murray of Brighton.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Glenn Murray. Bloody hell.
Glenn Murray, Brighton seem a much more sort of like a fashionable outlet now than to have a player like Glenn Murray.
I tell you what, though, you talk about crossroads, right? Remember when he was linked with Ashley Barnes, Peter Crouch, Andy Carroll just won that random season? Imagine if he bought one of them instead of Giroud.
I think Ashley Barnes would have been a great signing. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying that. Isn't he Austrian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he played for the Austrian under-20s.
Doesn't he play for Norwich at the moment?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he does. Yeah. 6 in 35.
Tells you all you need to know.
Well, he could be a great backup song. Hey, look, it says here in 2019, Burnley grime artist Bacchus released a song titled Ashley Barnes, dedicated to the footballer. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to check that out after this. Right. Yeah. So thank you for listeners. Thank you for listening to this episode. And of course, thank you if you joined in the first year, the second, third, fourth, or even this year. Thank you. We appreciate it. It's awesome having you. Join the Discord. Like we keep saying, that Discord is a great community full of awesome people. And hey, you might make some friends there. You might, because I know I have, and I know we all have. We're incredible collective of people. And yeah, just treat yourself well. We'll be back on Thursday again because I didn't predict this, but I know Friday's important for one of us, isn't it? He's got it. He got it. Right.
Well, there's a spoiler alert for you.
Yeah, spoiler. We'll be dropping. And it's Costas Manolis's birthday on Friday. It's gonna be a good one for the Greek god in Rome. But we'll be dropping our Euro 2024 predictions for you all. So that's gonna be also fun. So till then, that'll be us signing off. You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.